Rivalries are something that are pretty common in Animal Jam. People like to have competition and like to have some fun with it. Over the years, there have been a few different examples of these rivalries happening in-game. The most recently being the Dragons versus Unicorns happening right now. But the question is, which one was the best event? So the first actual case of these competitions happening in-game that were actually official was in 2017 with the Zios versus Mira competition. This went alongside 2017's VidCon, or some people in the community call it JamCon. Basically, what happened at VidCon was Animal Jam invited a set of Jambassadors to go and participate at their booth at VidCon, which is a convention based on YouTube. YouTubers go there, whatever. Unfortunately, VidCon is not the same that it was back then. It was much more exciting and entertaining to go as compared to if you were to go this year, and Animal Jam hasn't been at VidCon for many years by this point. The main reason why they probably hosted this event was to bring up hype and make the community involved in what's going on at VidCon. At this point, Animal Jam was doing live streams still. They were able to do live streams still, so you were able to see what the Jambassadors are doing live. It was pretty cool. And if you actually went to the event, you would be able to meet them and all that stuff as well. What were the items and what were the teams themselves? Well, we had Mira and Zios, who are the two guardians of Jamal. They're basically Jamal's gods or whatever. You choose the one you like more, basically. So our Team Zios members were Apari, Snowy Claw, Jelly Jones, and Twinkle. And our Team Mira members were Wisteria Moon, Sethi, Bepper, and Animal Jammer 330. And the items that they had in shops for you to buy were a plushie for your team, a tapestry, a banner, a coat of arms, and a hat for either Mira or Zios. At the end of this event, whichever team won got a rare tag on their items, and Team Zios won, so the Zios items now have a rare tag. This was on Classic only. In similar fashion, in 2018, Animal Jam went back to VidCon and probably improved on their previous year with even more stuff to do for this competition. This was the first year that I personally watched a VidCon, because before that I didn't actually play Animal Jam at all. I joined in 2017, so the VidCon already happened by when I joined. This year was Sabertooth versus Direwolf, and there was a whole lot of lore leading up to this event. The main thing started at the eclipse in 2017, where basically the eclipse happened, and that somehow revived Zios in the Lost Temple of Zios. Maybe that's because of Team Zios winning? I'm not sure. But Zios was revived, and the area underneath the statue got opened, revealing the Lines of Power. Those Lines of Power eventually destroyed Club Geos, and eventually those portals inside the Forgotten Archive started an adventure series which led us into Belush. And Belush is the land where the ancient Sabertooths and Direwolves live, basically. And at this point, it was brand new. It came out in February of 2018, so it was like 4 months old, and the storyline was rapidly unfolding still. And Direwolves only got released in like June of that month, so they were pretty new. And it was very exciting to see. As a result of this VidCon event was very entertaining and was a whole lot of fun to watch. I could say from experience, I was there. Well, I wasn't at VidCon, but I was watching it live, okay? And another thing that they had there was a little ad for Jambassador, and that's what kind of installed the little seed into my head. So that's fun. Our Team Sabertooth members were Apari, Jelly Jones, Typical Rocky, and Twinkle. And our Team Direwolf members were Wisteria Moon, Snowy Claw, Bepper, and Sethi. There were a lot of overlaps from 2017's VidCon towards their Jambassador guests, and there are two reasons for this. The first reason is Jambassadors were originally first chosen in 2016, and there weren't many of them. There were probably around 10 maybe. I'm not sure a specific number, but they didn't choose all too many in comparison to the number we have nowadays. And another thing is that, well, I mean, why wouldn't you want to go for a second time if you had a lot of fun, right? So, yeah, a lot of these participants came for a second year in a row to enjoy themselves at VidCon. Our items for this year were a plushie, a tapestry, banner, coat of arms, hat, and topiary. A new topiary was introduced, probably because these animals are actually animals, unlike Zios and Mira, and most animals have a topiary by this point in Animal Jam anyway. So, well, not on Play Wild, but on Classic. These items were also on Play Wild as well. So if you were joining that game, you were able to participate in a way as well. And there was also real-life merch to celebrate this occasion because it was a pretty big deal. Animal Jam used to have something called the Animal Jam Box, a quarterly subscription service where they worked with a company called Culturefly, and they created these boxes full of trinkets and t-shirts and stuff like that. You were able to buy them either per year or per quarter, and 2018 Summer Box was fittingly a Sabertooth versus Direwolf box. So all those items in the box and the box itself were all based off of this event. So if you really wanted official merch, it actually exists.
Here we see they're playing a really competitive game of Fortnite. Kill her! Destroy her! Make her regret she ever created her account!
Those two events were considered the quote-unquote OG events for these competitions. Everything after this is trying to, in some way, mimic or get to the greatness that these two were at, but probably don't catch up fully because, again, there is no real-life event to coincide with it. So they can only do so great in comparison to that, right? Last Halloween, almost a year ago by the time I'm recording this, Night of the Phantoms event was Lightside versus Darkside. Basically what happened was there started to be similar looking rifts to when Club Zios originally fell from the lines of power, coming out of the fountain and going towards Alpha headquarters, it seems. On Classic, though, it was going more towards the Pillow Room. Either way, the result of this was, on Classic, the Pillow Room relocated into the top of Jama, being replaced by Club Zios. And on Play Wild, a rift opened, and you had to put in light or dark energy to either fight it. The alphas were split up, and Lightside won eventually. That also meant that Grayley resigned his position, which was surprising to everybody. But basically, Lightside versus Darkside was a pretty cool event, and the main thing that it had was the minigame. There was a matching minigame similar to Simon Says or Bop It, I guess, in a way, and you're able to match the different colors, or if you had sound on, you could hear different sounds as well with the different colors. You earned points based on that to buy light and dark side chests. Those chests, when opened, gave you a light or dark side item, and that item is basically an item with a effect over it, and the effect is based off of like the item underneath it or whatever, but basically it's a black or white item with a colored effect over it, and people went crazy about it. You probably see many people still using these items now, a year later, because they're very cool. The teams are too large to name. Basically, they had two sets of Jambasters splitting in half, and the main thing that was supposed to happen there was each of us were planning to convince jammers to come to our side and basically play for light or dark, but what actually happened was people liked both of the sides and chests so much that they basically flip-flopped during the event. The result definitely had an impact on the game, but most players didn't care all too much at all about this, and decided to go light side or dark side depending on the round, because they weren't forced to choose a side. As a result of that, light side won because the items are a little cooler than dark side. That meant that Alpha headquarters survived, and Club Zios is in the Phantom Dimension now. And I guess partially based on the findings of Lightside winning, we have this year's Unicorns vs. Dragons event, which is fully created by Jambassadors and happened during August and September of this year. One thing that has happened is we do have some items based on this event. The event came first before the items, which is a different sign than all these other events, which came at the exact same time. Basically, this event was planned by us Jambassadors over the course of August, and Animal Jam in the September update was finally able to implement items into the actual game to coincide with this event. Team Unicorn is me, Brad Stormer, Leora, Creativity, Galaxy Mints, Pink Rhino 24, Cute Cool Kitten, Maximum, Animal Lover Jammer, and Team Dragon is Kitten Love 133, Bootleg Greeley, Daffodil 135, Katy Cat 21, Full Moon Bunny, The Shady Raccoon, Queen Wolf, and Breezy. It's a lot of people. Our items for this event, which you can go earn now if you're watching this close to when the video is releasing, is the Team Unicorn Horn or Team Dragon Hat. Items based on different effects. The Unicorn Horn has a Rainbow Gummy effect, and the hat has a Rainbow Glacier effect. There is a plushie on both Classic and Play Wild, and there are Crystal Pegasus based horn and wings items on Classic as well through a code. And there is a mission and a name tag and badge to earn on Play Wild for you to enjoy. They're pretty cool. I like both of them probably equally, although I am wearing the Unicorn one right now to show my support for my team. The main section of the Unicorn vs. Dragon event is different contests that Jambassadors are hosting on their social media platforms. For example, Leora hosted a Mythical Creature contest, Pink Rhino hosted a Den contest, Bootleg Greeley hosted a Draw This Isn't Your Style contest, I hosted a meme contest, etc. Contests you could enter, and each of your entries will count towards either a Unicorn or Dragon. So choose your team wisely, I guess. But I still haven't answered the question, have I? The question and the title was, what event was the best? I'm trying to think of this without any sort of bias. Personally, I feel that the Sabertooth vs. Direwolf event was the best out of these four that I talked about today. And probably out of any future ones as well, unless they could somehow match the potential of that event or even surpass it. But I doubt that that will probably ever happen, unfortunately. Basically, the Sabertooth vs. Direwolf event had real-life VidCon, right? It had real-life VidCon. That's what made Zios vs. Mira and Sabertooth vs. Direwolf so amazing. It was completely live contests. Another thing that Sabertooth vs. Direwolf had was the real-life merch, as well as the stuff in the game. The stuff in the game is really cool, but other events obviously have it as well, like this Dragon vs. Unicorn event. But especially with animaljam not making real-life merch for years by this point, it's really cool to see something like, oh yeah, we made a real-life merch line to go inside with this event. And they definitely planned it ahead of time for many months, starting in August of 2017 probably, with the eclipse. So that event definitely led up for almost a year worth of new and exciting content. Is very exciting to think about. Probably the only thing close to that would be maybe Lightside versus Darkside leading up to Crystallis. Go check my Instagram for a meme contest for this event. I am hosting a meme contest, and there are some awesome prizes to go look at. So if you want to enter, I wish you all good luck, and I can't wait to see your meme. But what do you think? What is your favorite event? Have you ever watched one of the VidCons live, like me? Or did you go back to watch it, like, as a VOD? What team are you playing for Dragons vs. Unicorns? Play Team Unicorn. If you like my content, then why not subscribe? And with that, this is Brad Stormer, storming out.